And we're live. Paul, thank you for coming. The reason I invited you over here is because we've been working together for several years. You own a dump trucking business, and I've enjoyed working with you, and I wanted to bring you in and just pick your brain a little bit. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
You all right? Well, uh, dump trucking, like, when you're a boy, I know when I was a little boy, when I first saw a dude pulling up with a dump truck and he had a trailer with a excavator or a 953 loader on it, I looked at him, I was like,
Yeah.
superstar. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, you're amazing. And I was like the coolest thing as a young dude. But I was always stuck in the body shop business because that's what my dad used to do. So spent years in the body shop business, and it got to the point where sniffing so much chemicals got to me. I was like, man, paint something, so I feel like I'm ready to pass out. Just the chemicals really got to me. And then I worked with this guy named Wova B. You know what B?
Yes.
Fleet chaser, great guy. And he used to do the same thing. And then he all of a sudden jumped into dump trucking. And I was like, I'd vent to him and be like, dude, this stuff is killing me, man. He's like, dude, sell this, get rid of this business, buy you a dump truck, I'll give you work. I was like, all right. Because I've been praying about it. I was like, Lord, I need another job. I was like, this stuff is going to kill me, these chemicals. So before you know it, I bought a dump truck and I was working. And that was like, life changer, like finally actually started making money, driving a dump truck, pulling equipment around. I felt like a superhero. Sorry, guys. Should I put on silent?
Phones off.
Oh, man.
That's the rule. Make sure. This is usually when things start falling apart when you're doing an interview.
So silent.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, started on the dump truck world. Didn't really know anything about it, but I knew I was like, I just needed something else to do. And now I've been in it for 15 years or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And,
it's been that long.
it's been a long time flies, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
You enjoy that more than working on cars?
oh yeah, like
I remember it used to be really good.
hey,
Or
I'm
probably still
I'm
are.
still good, man. Come on, It
You
just
fixed a few of my cars back in the day.
I know. I remember
Yeah.
your Lexus IS
Oh,
IS 300. That was a classic.
oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been dump trucking 15 years, and it sounds like the dude pulling up spoke to your primal boy instincts,
Yeah.
whatever that was. I have a few nephews, whenever I pull up on my truck or they see my Bobcat, that's all they can talk
Yeah.
about, my Bobcat
Yeah.
skid steer. So that's, I guess you're a real boy at heart
Yeah.
and soul.
It was actually one of Chechen's friends that he knew
That pulled up?
That pulled up, and I needed some stumps taken out of my my house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I just went from there. And when I was working at a body shop, I worked at CarMax for many years, and I was like, man, this stuff is like, dude, you really got to work hard, make your money. And I'm like, man, Lord, I wish I could have a job that, like, my average was like 70, 80 bucks an hour.
Yeah.
At that. I mean, this is a long time ago, And I was like, man, God,
That's
what
a
if I
lot
can?
for a
It
long
was a
time
lot.
ago.
Well, yeah, because I worked hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and I knew my stuff, so what the average Joe would make, 20, 30 bucks an hour, I was tripling it, because I knew what I was doing. And I was like, man, if I can have a job making that kind of money, just sitting around doing nothing, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And life passes, and it's like God heard my prayer. I'm sitting in the dump truck,
Yeah.
just sitting around, basically. You know, you drive here and there a little bit, but I work with the graders that I basically just set my butt in the truck, and just waited for him to load me and maybe come out there with the shovel and shovel a little bit, you know, but didn't do much driving for many years. And I'm thinking like, man, I was like, that prayer I asked God if I can make the same money sitting doing nothing, it came true. So that was pretty cool.
So you got your CDL and opened up. So are you a LLC or
Yeah.
what's your company name?
Brothers Trucking and Grading LLC.
Brothers Trucking and Grading
Yeah.
LLC.
Yeah.
So you're a LLC. You got your CDL. You've got a few trucks. Are you a big company, small company, medium size? Like, how do you where are you at, and are you comfortable there? Do you want to grow?
So I would say definitely a small company, but I mean, I guess the smallest you can be is if you're just by yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're by yourself, it's actually, I feel like when I was by myself, I had time and money, because you know, you just the way you pace yourself, and when you're driving your truck, you can avoid a lot of breakdowns. You know, you're always inspecting
Because you're taking care of
you
your
take care
equipment.
of it. Yeah, you're not jerking it around, especially when you have 18, 20. Man, some of these
Tons.
Yeah, some of these jobs we do, we haul mud on site, and they load you up, and you're like 25, 30 pounds. I mean, we had snapping axles. Yeah, well, this is on site, so
okay.
it's not
Okay.
weight limit doesn't matter.
Okay.
Snapping. We had snapped an axle, drive shaft or rear end in 3 spots.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like and those axles, they're like
Wow.
but where were we at?
I think we digressed a little bit.
So we and then
You were talking about one truck.
Yeah, and then after having one truck, you're always like, man, if you have 2 trucks, you can make a little bit more money. You have 3 trucks, you can make a little, 4 trucks, So you always start thinking that direction because it kind of makes sense, And then for me, sitting always behind the steering wheel, it also takes a toll.
Yeah.
Back starts hurting, and you're like, dude, do I need to be behind the wheel? But not everybody is so business oriented that they have like my stress capacity is not as much as maybe somebody like companies we know, Makeway that has 250 trucks, or Landmark, they have 30, 40 trucks, or Redstone, they have 60, 70 trucks. Guys that could take this and make
Scale
it happen. Yeah. My stress level, my comfort level was 2, 3 trucks, and
That's where you're at.
that's where I'm at. Yeah, and that's when you don't need a mechanic, you don't need secretary, which I have my wife as a secretary, and I'm
Which is great.
It's great.
That's a good partnership.
It's a great partnership. Yeah,
Keep the
I
money
fired her
in-house.
maybe like 400 times. I was like, "You're fired." But then I was like, "Oh man, I need her to do this paperwork." So
You're hired.
yeah.
Did she ask for a pay raise?
She's walking on a fine line. Well,
okay.
she tried, but I had to humble her. No, she's a great wife. Awesome. Love her.
Another reason I brought you in here is because I'm in the construction industry, and I utilize you guys and you all the time. So I'm like, yeah, let's talk, because to me, when I started out, I would try to haul things myself, get a trailer, rent a trailer. Run a few loads, then that was a waste of time. And then, you guys are like bring 12, 15 yards at a time, which is great. I know you guys are busy right now. I usually have to call in advance. I remember the day when, I could probably call you in the morning and you can get me same day. But Charlotte's always growing. There's always a need. What is your view on when customers order a full load, half load? What would you recommend? Like if I'm needing gravel, I have my own opinions on that, but like when you see somebody ordering, like what is your usual order? Is it always full loads or half loads, partials?
You know, if somebody has a little driveway that parks 2-3 cars, and you know, you're not going to bring in 15 tons because it's just going to be, you know, especially especially if it was spread. So it just depends on the job site and what's going on, you know. Of course, when it comes to like delivery fees, it's going to be the same. If you want 5 tons, if you want 15 tons, you know, because it's time. You know, you have to go to the quarry, get the stone, take it, you know. So, you know, each job is different, and whatever the customer wants. If he wants half a ton, I'll bring him half a ton. You know, if he wants 18 tons, you got it.
Can I hire you for the day?
Oh yeah,
like,
a lot of times.
You know, I know I need to haul out a couple loads, maybe bring in a few loads of stone. Can I hire you? Can we negotiate something where, you know, your truck is mine for the day?
That's most of our work, is we just get hired out and show up 7, 8 in the morning whenever the customer wants, and use us and abuse us until the day's over. I mean,
most of the time, me as a builder, and what I recommend customers, you know, they just need, you know, 2-3 loads of dirt or a couple loads of stone. So that's mostly what I do with you. But I just, you know, wanted to find out, like, yes, are you available for like the day?
Most dump truckers are pretty flexible, which, you know, we do like full day. Because
is that mostly what you do?
Yes.
And do builders like me annoy you where I just need one load of gravel?
Yeah, it's like, hey, can you bring me a load at 9 in the morning and then another one at 2 in the morning? It's like, what am I supposed to do? You know? But then there's also guys there in the business, and they just run loads. They advertise different stone. I know a handful of guys that do that, and they do very well, and they're very flexible. They can be, you know, they can throw in a load anytime you need it, you know, because just how their scheduling is. But since I don't advertise much and don't have that many clientele, I just stick to like bigger companies, and we just, you know, send several trucks to this job site, and we'll haul dirt all day long from point A to point B, or on site, or, you know, or haul a bunch of stone into a job. So
is that keeping you busy,
Yes.
or do you feel like you need to advertise? And last question, is there a lot of new competition in town? I've noticed in my industry, there is a lot of new builders. Everybody from my siding guy got his GC license, tile guy got his. I feel like everybody's GC at church. Every other person is a builder now. You know, to me, I consider them entry level competition, and they are thinning the pool of work for me and everybody, just because, you know, they're all trying to build and grab stuff. Do you see the same thing in the dump trucking industry?
Of course, yeah. People see that there's, you know, people are always talking, and they're like, hey, man, there's money in here, you know. So everybody wants to, you know, jump in, and the thing is, like, you would think that you're just a truck driver, like, no, you know. Just bring dirt from here to here, you know.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that when you're on a job site, you can tell who's a trained, and who's a newbie, you know. Sometimes just the way you pull up to the excavator, the way you pull up to get loaded, the guy's like, you know, the loader would be like, dude, I want you back tomorrow. You're amazing, you know. Because the rookie, he'll just be, I mean, he'll, you know, the worst thing is when the machine has to reposition itself to start loading you, you know, like people, you can tell. And so companies really like experienced drivers, yes, for sure, for sure. There's just so much work in Charlotte, and, you know, everybody's looking for the dollar, and it's almost kind of like you can't blame them, because I was that guy at one point where I just needed something, and maybe somebody's doing something, a job that they just hate. And they're like, man, let me give this a try. But a lot of people come and go, because people think like, oh, it's going to be, I had a friend that drove for me, and he was like, I'm gonna get this, start my own thing.
Yeah.
Well, it really went downhill for him. When the truck starts breaking, when you start,
all the maintenance and downtime expenses.
Yeah, and then if you have like last year, from winter to late into the spring, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Rain. It was, I went 30,000 in credit card debt just to keep up with stuff. So it's not as flowery,
easy money as
people think. Yeah, you have to really establish your company, your name. So a lot of times a lot of little builders, and when things are all slow, some will call, like you would call, be like, hey Paul, I need 2 loads of sand. I'm like, great, that's $500 right there. I got something.
Yeah. That is a theme I'm seeing, as a lot of people are jumping to the construction, trucking, whatever industry, because they think it's easy money, or for the wrong reasons, and nothing against entry level businesses, because like you said, we started at one point. I've made my share of mistakes. I'm sure you've made your share of mistakes, cautiously approaching the equipment, parking 10 feet away. You were like, oh, who is this guy?
Not running over the septic tank. The surveyors would come and set all the pins for the house, and here you go pulling in, and you run over 3 of them or 2 of them, or and that messes up everything.
Oh, that would piss the builder off.
Oh man, I worked with awesome grader, best graders.
I've had both happen. Somebody ran over my septic tank, collapsed it, pins. But you were saying?
Yeah. Well, I had a awesome grader out of South Carolina named Joe Metker, best in the world. But man, he was a firecracker.
Okay.
And he's like, Paul, I feel like when you see a steak stick in the ground, he's like, I'm gonna run it over, But a lot of times you want to be so cautious, you're pulling in these job sites, you're kind of like almost, you're not seeing everything, but especially when you're a rookie, you're nervous out there, you want to do your best.
I was gonna say rookies are probably super cautious, they don't know how to approach the construction site, take their time, whereas you're like, all right, just
speaking of
pull up, do your thing.
Speaking of rookie, I have a really rookie story when I first started.
Okay.
Full load of stone, pulled up to a customer's house. I was like, well, I got to jump out, get out of the truck and see, check out the area where I'm going to dump it, make sure I can back in there and dump, and, so fired up, got work, this and that. So I just got out of the truck, left it, didn't put an e-brake on, nothing, and just went check it out. And I was parked on top of a hill, and the hill went, you could go backwards or you go forwards. And forwards is just like one house in front. If you go, because the road started curving, so truck was just kind of going straight, and there was a house, and then after the house is a creek. So when I got out of the truck, I went and checked this area out, and then I'm walking out, and I'm like, oh, where's my truck? I go, whoa! I pulled Superman on it. I chased my truck down and barely caught it before it went off the road.
Wow.
And it would have went through a house.
Wow.
And into the creek.
Wow.
And,
that's crazy.
Thank God.
That brings me to the next question. You're insured, right?
I'm insured.
Okay.
I'm insured. But guys, audience, when you see those dump truckers, any kind of truckers, pray for them, because sometimes it's just your brain goes blank.
Yeah.
And you can cause a world of trouble.
Oh my gosh.
This is a dump truck. Empty is about, depends what kind, roughly 28,000 pounds.
Yeah.
loaded with 17, 18 tons of stone. Add
That's
that
a lot of
together.
weight.
It's a bullet. It's
Yeah.
a heavy bullet going down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any other crazy stories not pertaining to your business or your company, like that you've seen in trucking?
There was one crazy story that I didn't see,
Yeah.
but it was posted on in the quarry. So somebody got out to check their load or something like that. No, so the bed was up, the tailgate was open. Somebody went out to stuck their head in to see if the bed was clean. At that same time, the loader backed up into the tailgate and cut his head off. Ooh. Yeah, that was posted on the
Here in Charlotte?
Yeah, here in Charlotte. Yeah, this was years ago, but like, this
I
is.
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I thought it was like a scare tactic, but like it's. You don't mess around with heavy equipment.
That equipment is not forgiving.
Yeah, no, man, it's a thing. It's not just it's a big deal.
Obviously.
Having a CDL operating equipment, and especially like I have I have a skid steer, and you just have to be really on guard, because I could be at a job, moving some dirt around, and kids from the neighborhood could be like, oh wow, cool, look, that's so cool, look what he's doing, and you're in your zone moving back and forth.
You won't even feel them.
You won't even feel them. Yeah, it's.
I've hit my truck with my skid steer. I didn't even feel it.
Oh, we were church working, and a buddy came to help us out, man. And I'm working here, he's working there, and next thing you know, we end up in the center. We rammed each other from the back. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What are you doing?" But
so do you? What kind of services do you offer in a nutshell? You said you have a skid steer. Can you, itemize, in a nutshell, what kind of services you offer? Just as a dump truck, we see the trucks on the road.
Yeah.
Like, what could we do? Because I know, builders utilize dump trucks. Homeowners can also call and say, like, hey, instead of trying to, how do I get this mulch over here? They can call you.
Yeah. Anything you need that can be brought with a dump truck, we can bring. I mean, when we were doing I-77, we were bringing wet concrete.
Oh, wow.
They would.
Wow.
They would pour. Yeah, you'd pull up to the plant, and they would have those barrels, just like a concrete truck would have. You pull up, and it just dumps the wet concrete. It wasn't as wet as you would pour a driveway, because then it would just be like pouring out everywhere, But it was wet, and we'd pull up. Just dump it out. Yeah, and then the machine would just machine was gonna spread it. So,
how did you guys clean your truck bed afterwards?
Well, after every load, you pull up to a wash station and they pressure wash, kind of like a cannon, But it would mess up the trucks because you can't wash everything out. And underneath, it'd be when it sticks, it sticks. You know, like I've had after those jobs, maybe for the past 5-7 years, the concrete would still
couldn't you spray some kind of, if you knew you were doing that, spray some DW40 or some kind of
they
oil?
They have chemicals where you could wash it right away, but it's just like
nobody does that.
Yeah, it's like when you first buy something, you first buy your truck, your baby in it, everything, make sure
and then
little dust,
like,
then it's whatever. But if anybody needs mulch, anybody needs refresh their driveway stone, anybody has a low spot in their yard, or standing water, they want to bring some dirt in, spread it, that's.
Also hauling debris or dirt away, right?
Yeah.
Hire you for the day.
Yeah, just like on my street. There's an older lady, huge tree fell right, from her front yard on the road, and that kind of stuff I love. Get the dump truck, the skid steer with the grapple, chainsaw.
So you're able to come with your skid steer and just do all in house. I don't need to line up a skid steer and an operator. I could just call you, hey, I got these trees that need to be gone.
Oh yeah,
You can come and do that.
100%.
Okay.
That's
Any pet peeves for builders or customers that you don't like, or you would like for us to know, like when we call you, for an example, don't call me same day. Like, Paul, I need gravel at lunch.
But you know what? Sometime, it's not.
I know sometimes it'll work out.
Yeah. So it's never going to hurt to call. There's really not many. You can't demand stuff, of course. Like, I need you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can.
Yeah.
Like, Paul, listen, this is your last chance. No, but you never know, because you can go to a job site and inspector shows up and they're like, no, this is bad dirt, shut it down. You thought you were going to work all day.
Yeah.
You're
okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So and then we get shut down and you call.
So don't hesitate to call.
Don't hesitate.
Because sometimes I'm like, man, like we're grading or something and I need a load of gravel, and sometimes I'm like, they're probably already busy.
Yeah.
But that's good to know that,
Hey,
it's worth calling.
James, you have not because you ask not.
Yeah.
So you gotta always ask.
Yeah. Okay. So it's your wife does all the books.
Yes. Oh, yes. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be like, where is all my money? It used to be like that. I was like, why is all the money gone? You're like, well, yeah, why don't you take a look what you've been doing, what you've been spending?
Yeah.
Life is great. Yeah. So.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years and beyond?
I think having, for me, 3, 4 newer trucks, because I have awesome drivers. I have drivers that have been working for their whole life as truck drivers. And
is Daniel one of them?
Daniel is with Redstone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not with you anymore?
Yeah, he was a great dude for many years. Yeah, but it got really slow for us.
No wonder I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, no, he's up. He's doing bigger and better things. He's driving a tow truck.
Okay.
Yeah, well, not just a tow truck, just pulling equipment around for So happy for him. He's doing good. He's has a stable job because for smaller companies, when things get slow, when the weather really beats you up, then it's tough because you can't really balance two things really well. So you can't when you're working for the bigger companies, you're hauling you're hauling dirt all day long, let's say, whatever, and then it rains, that stops. Then you don't have enough clientele, smaller people, where you can maybe like bring somebody some stone or some sand, into
mulch.
or maybe like even haul, like on rainy days, like a lot of people haul maybe like stone to concrete plant, or even haul stone from quarry to quarry, but like I don't have enough trucks or to really juggle that, because it's like when the quarry is going to need me to move stone from quarry to quarry, I'm like, well, I can't do it because I'm already working for this guy. So you can't balance really two things like that. It's either if you're gonna just haul, just haul stone and just like do deliveries, then stick to that, because then you can or if you have 20, 30 trucks, then you can do everything.
Yeah.
You can do deliveries.
But then you have a different problem. You got to feed the beast.
Yeah.
You got to stay very active where you can take a vacation.
Exactly. And that's the thing,
and not worry.
You can, I can, with more trucks, you need to hire your own mechanic and, your, more office ladies. And it just grows bigger. Yeah, you can do it, but do you need it? Do I need it? I mean,
I agree with you. I'm a small business owner. I like staying small.
Yeah.
I don't have to feed the beast.
Yeah, a million phone
I found
calls
my
a day.
comfort zone. Make plenty of money. I'm not trying to go after everything. So, but is that where you see yourself in a couple new trucks and?
A couple new trucks and just just coast through life.
Do you utilize technology or continue your education, or are you just kind of like, or is there not much in trucking? Whereas I know they have like the GPS trackers. I don't know what else in trucking.
Yes,
is there any technology affecting trucking?
GPS.
Driverless dump trucks.
I would not trust that, but because with like we were talking about experienced truck drivers, you can. The guy can, customer can say, I dropped a load on this field over here, and if you're driving or backing up, if you're not experienced, you're not going to notice these things. But if you're backing up and you start seeing that your back tires are kind of sinking a little too much, you're like, whoa, stop. Don't go any further, Either dump, or because it might be even worse the farther you go. And then you're stuck in the middle of the field and you got just a shovel with you. With an experienced driver, he can be like, stop, move up, maybe reposition, go from a different angle to drop the load, or or just don't drop it at all. Tell the customer, hey man, this is a hazard.
I'll get stuck.
Yeah, or I've seen
flip.
Yeah, or I've seen trucks dumping and the bed is like, woo, starts really leaning. It's like, whoa, stop it. That's, I don't care if the load needs to be here.
Yeah.
That's, reposition, make sure your bed is, even and everything. But we were talking about good things that happen to trucking. Some of the good things is GPS trucking has been great. And my friend that got me into trucking from the get-go, Vladimir Babi, he has fleet chasers. And that's who I use, and probably millions of people already use him. I highly recommend him. But that's been great because now things are getting more, 2-3 years ago, 10 years ago, I can show up to a job site, 7 o'clock. I could sit there all day long and do nothing, maybe move one load. And then they sign me out, go home. Now it's like every load counts.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if there's 2 trucks out and one, they both had 10 hours and one had 9 loads, the other one had 10 loads, then somebody's getting deducted.
Yeah.
They are very strict. But a lot of times it's like, no, he only had 9 loads. I'm like, well, let me check the tracker.
Yeah.
And tracker shows everything that's going on. That saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or the customer's like, hey, where's the truck at? Like, and sometimes it's like it's urgent. Like, dude, I need to know. And it's like, oh, he's right there.
He's around the corner.
He's 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
So tracking's been great.
Cool. So GPS tracking's good. Anything else, or is it pretty basic? You just need a truck.
It's pretty basic. Yeah, it's pretty basic just because it's kind of local work. Like if you had the semi trucks, it's more. You're just kind of all over the place. There's just more companies you're dealing with all the freight and everything. So I think with dump trucking it's not that much involved too.
I did remember a question I wanted to ask you. Are you guys the ones making all the potholes in Charlotte? I thought about that. I'm like, who's making all these potholes? The small cars or the big trucks?
It's a combination.
Combination.
Yeah.
All right.
They're just a lot aware. But the worst thing is, I don't really like DOT, but it's good to have them because, if there's a job, a lot of people do, that's per ton, you get paid per ton. And, you're only allowed maybe 15 tons in certain roads and freeways, and
bridges.
Yeah. But people risk it, they're like, they're going to get, because
cut corners.
At the end of the day, if you have a overweight load, you're hauling. At the end of the day, it can be from $100 to $200 to $300 extra. So people take that chance, and drivers take that chance, and of course it hurts the roads.
Unfair to everybody that pays for the roads.
Yeah, that's part of how it is sometimes.
Pros and cons. of owning a trucking business?
Pros. You have I guess what's the word I'm looking for? You control your business. You know, like you were saying, like smaller business. You know, you have your business.
You're in charge.
You're in charge. If you want to go to Mexico next week, just either tell the guys you guys are going on vacation too, or have somebody like the dispatchers I work with. I'm like, hey, bud, I'm gonna be out of town. Dispatch my trucks for me. All right, cool, you got it. So it works out awesome. And you can make money. Yeah, I mean, you have a good lifestyle. There's money there. It just for smaller. I just want to point it out, for a smaller business, you really have to be mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
Because for everything, if you take a truck to the shop, I don't know how you're gonna make money.
Yeah.
Because everything, and then a lot of times,
expensive.
a lot of times something that you can be fixed pretty easy, you take it to the shop, you gotta wait like 2-3 weeks, and that's that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that you could have made. So anybody that wants to get in the business that's not really mechanically inclined, unless you're buying a brand new truck, you have the money for that, and it's under warranty, sure. But because dump trucks take a lot of beating.
Yeah,
it's a lot of beating. I mean, it's you're always heavy. You're always.
Are you always maintaining the trucks?
Yes, yes.
We don't see that as a builder. I don't see it.
Yeah, no, that's always like if you don't, if you're
dump
not,
truck on the road.
Yeah, if you're not greasing it, if you're not, keeping up with the fluids, I mean. I had, when I was a rookie, I lost my transmission. Transmission went out, and then when I was taking it off, I was like, I took the PTO off, and it's supposed to be oil in the transmission.
Yeah.
I took the PTO off. I'm like, oh, I forgot to drain the oil. I'm like, hold on, there's no oil in here. I stick my finger in there, it's dry. Like,
wow.
So it's like, what happened to the oil?
Yeah.
But if I had, maybe quarterly at least check the fluids in the rear ends, the transmission, that would have saved my transmission. So.
Is that one of the cons? Constant maintenance.
Yes.
Or just part of the job.
I mean, it's you have to just maintain your equipment.
Yeah.
You have to, weekly check your fluids, why would you want to lose the engine because oil leaked out somewhere, and checking fluids, radiator fluid, and don't overheat the engine. You overheat the engine, blow a head gasket, for stupid stuff. I mean, we've had stuff. Stuff happens. Driver driving, a hose pops off.
Yeah.
Radiator leaks out. Fluid leaks out. He's like, hey, sends a picture. I'm like, okay, stop. I'll be there.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Yeah. So, pros. Freedom. Being your own boss is great. And being able to actually, be that person that actually hires people. And helps somebody have a living.
Yeah.
I mean, I do try pay my drivers. Some rain days. Like if there's a week that they're sitting around, they're gonna get some money.
They're
you
not gonna be fair.
Yeah, you have to be.
You're not making money, but you gotta pay them.
Yeah. But I think there's more cons.
Yeah.
Because if it was perfect world, there would be a lot more. Pros.
Well, I think in a perfect world, everything would be pros.
Well, yeah, but if you buy a truck and it's not breaking, you're just changing oil and brakes and tires. But cons is you can get in the business, open your business up, and start working. And your first day, your transmission goes out. And if it's automatic transmission, it's like $8,000, $10,000, just depends. $5,000. If it's a manual, you're looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, that's just for the transmission, then labor, So you can very easily, you don't know what's going on inside the transmission. It might drive fine, and the next thing you know, and boom, you're out. And then everything you hope for, all the money, it's like you're going under, and and then depends how the weather goes and how the jobs go. What if things get a little slow, and you're just you'll be pulling your hair out. Lord forbid you put a driver on there and he's a rookie and he flips it.
Oof.
You know, all this is on your record. All of this is just stress.
So that goes on your record if you flip
yeah.
it. On your record or his record?
Well, a company record.
Okay.
I'm sure, I mean, I don't know exactly how it all works, but it's definitely, you know, every time we get pulled over by the DOT, they do inspection. And if you get put out of service, maybe a lug nut missing, maybe like too much air leaking or something, you know, yeah, that goes on company record, and it affects your insurance. So this is important. You have to, you know, if you have too many out of services, they'll shut you down, you know, because they'd be like, it's an unsafe company, unsafe trucking company. But so, yeah, you really have to, you know.
What about another question just popped up? I've been hit so many times with stone coming out of trucks. What do you suggest? Because I know it's unavoidable because the city is growing. We need you guys, but it's also not fun when you get
not fun.
a windshield broken by a piece of stone.
And I just posted my truck for sale, and pickup truck.
Yeah.
And I'm driving home, and those dumb truckers, bam, crack right away. And you can't do nothing.
Do you just stay far away? Because are you guys liable or not liable?
No.
Like, what is?
No, it's just road hazard. And you know, I've talked to troopers, and they're like, yeah, I mean, they can huff and puff people can huff and puff all they want, but it's
what
road
if you
hazard.
don't maintain your truck bed and like the tailgate is like half, all
yeah,
bent
like
up and there's
big crack
active
and
gravel
just
coming out?
Yeah, I mean, if a trooper sees you, yeah, that's an unsecured load. That's a fine. That's sometimes you almost can't avoid it because you can just maybe you're keeping your distance, and then you end up in a situation that you have to switch lanes and get out on the exit, and there's a truck right there, and have insurance that covers your windshield. That's about all you can do.
Stay far away. Avoid being.
Yeah.
When I was learning to drive, my dad always told me like, don't drive behind these big trucks.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah. No, for sure. And sometimes the truck could be a brand new truck, but there could be stone stuck in the groove of the tire.
Oh yeah.
It can pop out anytime.
Yeah.
Or when it gets loaded at the quarry, there's a little bit that fell on the side or something. Yeah. So it's really unavoidable. When I busted my windshield, I was like, yeah, Lord, I did a lot of windshield busting in my days. So you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
I take it.
And last question, why are you so handsome?
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm just kidding. Again,
you should ask me the other question that you asked Jose.
Are you here legally?
But I'm an American citizen. Proud. Proud.
No, again, reason I brought you in here is because you've been great to work with. We've been working together for a while. I know I can always count on you. So, I did want to bring you in here, pick your brain, maybe elevate your company a little bit. Again, what Brothers Trucking and Grading?
Yep.
Any final words, or are we good?
I think we're good, bud.
Okay. All right.
I remember I brought Stone to, there's a kind of another funny story. I brought Stone to Anatoly.
Okay.
Totally. Up there off 601.
Yeah.
And he thought it was super cool, and I played it off, but basically when he wanted me to spread the stone, I picked the bed up, and the way you spread it, you pick your bed halfway, and then you have chains in the back that lets the tailgate open up a certain amount of inches, and you just let go of the clutch and take off and spread. Well, it was kind of a rainy day or something like that, and my boots were wet, and I put it in gear, had the bed up, and kind of the foot slipped off the clutch. I'm like, pick the truck up, as a wheelie. He's like, wow, cool. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Because when that truck lifts up,
Yeah. Is that hard to do, spreading the load?
Not really.
Like, is there a
but
learning curve for dump trucking? Because they're massive machines.
Yeah. Stuff like that. I don't know if they have schools these days. I'm sure they do. But something like spreading, man, you just learn on the job site. You know, I mean, it kind of stinks for if you're learning on somebody's job site because they're like, you know, one guy spreads it. Like I remember when I was first learning, we were this beautiful house, long, beautiful driveway, and the guy that I was with, he spread his stone, the 57 stone, like better than a machine could spread it. I mean, he had it. He just topped it, and he put it like in third gear, and he did it fast. He's like, did it perfect. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
He's so experienced. And then it was my turn. Boy, I was jerking around, man. In some spots it was like this thick.
Yeah.
Some spots it was like this. And the owner comes out and he's like, I mean, he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him because the first truck made it look like a picture, you know. And then there goes me. So now you have to get a bobcat in there to flatten it out, make it right. And then you're never gonna get it as perfect as he did on that spread.
Yeah.
So learning, man.
Well,
just
I mean,
experience.
you can't get away from learning. You know.
Yeah, you're always learning.
You had to go through all the mistakes. When I started, I made plenty of mistakes. That's.
And spreading is also like such a delicate thing.
Yeah.
Because with each stone, so 57 is going to fall out faster. Like if you have your tailgate open this much, 57 stone is going to fall out faster than say surge or number 4s or number 3s because bigger stone or ABC. Yeah. And then it depends how much you want. You know, you're not going to spread 57 stone like this, but you will spread ABC stone like this. You know, and then depending on how much the tailgate's open and what kind of stone and how much you need. That tells you how fast you need to go. So it's like a whole, it's not just
math to it.
Yeah, it's not just like open the tailgate a little bit, pop it, and
that's
go.
good. That's good to know. That's good to know.
But that comes with experience.
Nice. Well, Paul, thank you for coming in.
My
It's been a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Max.
And this concludes our podcast.